Hello, YouTubers. Hello. So today is Monday, and it is currently 9:48 a.m. And because I do have to go to work soon, I'm going to try to wrap up this introduction quite quickly into what we're getting into for this little project of mine. So, a Comic-Con is coming up this weekend, and the special guest is Kevin Eastman. And it gave me an idea of who I could dress up for this nice little Comic-Con event that I'm going to. So, if you don't know who Kevin Eastman is basically one of the creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with Peter Lard. But here's what I'm going to do. Because I'm such a TMNT fan, I thought of an idea. I kind of thought of a costume / cosplay kind of last minute. And I have a week to do it, which is going to be a challenge definitely for myself. And first off, don't mind the nails. These going to get redone soon. I think I'm just going to show y'all the nails when they're done. Because I am on a time crunch, but we shall see what all will be fit into the video on today. But anyway, I decided to dress up as one of the TMNT Mirage Turtles. Now, there's a black and white version up here, and there's a color version down here. I am doing the color version of the comics, and this is how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first came to be and was first introduced before they became the heroes we know them as now. They originally were vigilantes, and I really enjoyed reading the comics of the Mirage TMNT series. I read the black and white edition. I didn't really too much read the color edition, which I do have a comic book, an online comic book website for anybody who likes to read comics like I do. I'll link that down below in the description, and it is free, and you can find any comic that your little heart desires to read, and they will have it for you. So that is my little gift to you guys. Anyway, I'm going to show y'all the little stuff while I'm on a little time crunch of what I've got so far. So I've got this green t-shirt. It is a Irish green. I got it from Michael's, and it's gonna play a very important role when it comes to making the plaster, which I'll leave an image of what a plaster is, just in case nobody doesn't know what a plaster is. This is gonna be important for the plaster part. And then I got this light yellow fabric, but I may end up getting a dark yellow because I feel like that may suit it better instead of going with such a light yellow, but we shall see. But I got some yellow fabric that I could use because this green is going to be for the skin, this green shirt, and this yellow is going to be made for the plaster. Like I said, it may change to a darker yellow, but yellow fabric is definitely going to be involved. And then I got this brown elastic from Michael's. It's loops and threads. I wanted to try to make a little brown belt to go around the plaster because they do have the brown belt in their color style. So I wanted to make a little brown belt, brown little ninja belt. Thought that would be cool. And that's the little stuff that I got. Also, this fabric is from home. I collect and buy lots of different fabrics. Majority of the time I find them at thrift stores. Sometimes I do find little sheets of it at Michael's, but that fabric is from home. So check your local thrift stores. Check your local Michael's, because I know they have fabric. It's just sheets of it. And check any other arts and craft related store if you don't have a local Michael's near you, because I guarantee and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have some type of fabric there. But this is to give you a little intro and a little idea. I have already made a weapon for this turtle, and I'm not going to reveal who the turtle is yet, but at some point this week I will leave a community post guessing for you guys to guess which turtle I'm gonna be from the Mirage series. But anyway, this is just a brief introduction of what we're going to be doing for this project, and I do have a week to do this and achieve this. So let's enjoy this ride, y'all. I'm back, y'all, and today it is still Monday, September the 28th, and it is right now 5:53 p.m. and this is the fabric that I'm using. I decided to go dark yellow, and it is a 18 times 21 inch. It is literally a sheet, and I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like. This is what the sheet looks like. It's not very long, but for what I'm doing, it's long enough. This is the one that I just opened, so I can show y'all what it kind of like looks like far back. It's not really long, but it's enough to get the job done, because really a sheet of fabric is something that you use for like small projects, and this project isn't a very big project for me. But yeah, I decided to go with dark yellow, and I'm so excited. I'm definitely excited. And I came back home a few minutes ago, and I thought to show y'all that I got the fabric, and we're going with dark yellow for this plaster. So now that we got the color for the plaster situated, there are 3 things that I am currently trying to look into to see if I can get, that I want to also try to do for this cosplay / costume, being a TMNT Mirage turtle. Green tights is one. Some that'll match the shirt that I got. And then some green shoes is another thing I'm hoping for. And I'm hoping that it kind of like matches the tights, so that way it can match their skin color. And then the third thing is hopefully I can find me some knee pads so that I can just paint them brown and just customize them in the comic book style. So yeah, your girl's gonna be on a journey for those 3 things. Now with the plaster, what I am gonna do is, once I get the plaster part on the t-shirt, which is gonna be the skin, as I explained earlier, I am going to be kind of painting a comic book design of what the plaster looks like that is kind of similar to the style of it in the comics, to the best of my ability. Y'all keep y'all fingers crossed, because we are creating, and this is also a last minute creative costume. Oh, hi guys. It's Tuesday, September the 9th. It is currently 6:04 p.m. right now. I'm just setting up little Betsy here. This is my little sewing machine, and we are going to be using her today, because now I have everything that is needed to assemble the top. I'm so excited for it. Gotta reach for it real quick. This is everything that's needed in the top. I did make an introduction yesterday, but here's a little review. Now I also got news on one of the items that I needed that I found today. So here's a review of what we got. We got a green shirt. It's a medium. Skilled from Michaels. This is going to be the skin. And then we got these 2 square pieces of fabrics that's by Loops and Threads. It's 18 by 21. This is going to be used for the plaster. And then my bag had failed. And then We got our brown knit elastic, which is going to be the belt. So we got everything for the top. And guess what, y'all? Guess what I found today? Your girl got some tights, and they match the shirt. I was so excited to see these, and I did get these tights from Spirit Halloween. They literally were the last pair, and I thought I put the receipt in the bag. But I remember these were like $7.12 total for these tights, because the US dollar price is $6.99. So I finally got my green tights, y'all. Yes, I get this life. Now, the only thing I got to really think about is the shoes and the knee pads, which I told y'all for my backup, I decided I was going to make some knee pads out of cardboard if need be. But I'm going to focus on the knee pads for now. But I will be making a backup just in case. Because my sister said she has some knee pads from when she was little, when she used to ride a bike. And she said that I could have them and use them. So yeah. When I find those, I'll let y'all know. If not, I'll let y'all know whether I got some knee pads or whether we're going to have to come and clutch and make some out of cardboard real quick. Because your girl always have a backup plan. Yeah, this DIY beautiful creative mind that the Lord has given me always has backup plans with each and every creative turn. So, that's that. So, the plan is to set up Betsy, which I just got to put this thread, y'all closer. Put this thread over here through that hole down there, which I do have a threader for that. So that's probably what I'm going to be using. Cause setting this sewing machine up is not hard. It's not a challenge. It was when I first started, though. I'm not gonna cap. When I first started, it definitely was a challenge for me. It definitely was. But anyway, for now, we are going to be focused on making the cutouts of our plaster. Let me focus on making the cutout for this plaster, which I am so excited about. I bought 2 things of fabric, even though I didn't need that much, just in case I do mess up. But we are going to be making the plaster, you guys. And I am so ready to make this plaster. I have literally been researching, researching in and out, looking at the TMNT Mirage to figure out how to create the shape of this plaster so I can make sure I get the shape of it right. So when it's time to sew it on the sewing machine, sew the plaster onto the shirt, which is the skin, that it will be the correct plaster. And then the cool thing that we're going to be testing out is the paint, because with fabric, it is kind of tricky painting with fabric, because with fabric, you do have to be careful how much paint work you put on there, and then need to know, like, okay, does this paint make it bleed a lot? Because, you know, I'm trying to get that comic book style. Because you know how sometimes when you read comic books, a lot of times, like, you see little line details or like little shadows and stuff. That's the goal that I want to do with these. Welcome back. All right, are y'all ready? Y'all ready? Got my nice little drawing pencil. I thought it would be very creative and artistic of me to put my little drawing pencil up here so I can be all extra like the little fashion designers be doing. So what do y'all think? kind of like it for some reason. But anyway, here's my reference. I ended up having to go off of an eBay seller reference, but this is the reference that we're doing. These are the TMNT Mirage turtles, by the way, in color. From what I found out, the color version of this released in 2009, so that's a fun fact. But anyway, we're going to be focusing on the shape of the overall plastron, because I apologize, I've been saying plaster because that's the way I remember it, but it is called a plastron. That's what it is called. So I'm gonna take y'all to my world real quick. Okay, so you see at the top we got these two pointy triangles at the top here. So we're gonna start by making two little pointy triangles, and then on down we're gonna make like a little diamond shape, because that's what the bottom is giving. Bottom is kind of giving like a pointed diamond down, but it's a little rounded, so we're gonna have to make that bottom rounded, and we're gonna have to make the two triangles at the top. We're gonna have to make that a little bit rounded too, so it's not too sharp. And yeah, so we're gonna start with first. So let me zip this up a little bit. So use my handy dandy pencil, which this is a drawing pencil. They do have markers too, which is good for when you are about to cut out fabric. It gives you a whole little layout. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to draw it out on here, but first I'm gonna grab my shirt. I don't know why I didn't think of this the first time, but I'm finna grab my shirt. Let me take this off. I need it. Okay, so what I'm finna do is I'm finna take my shirt, because it's gonna be showed onto the shirt. I'm gonna lay it right here, and then I am going to lay this on top of it so I can see how big we are working with this so far, with this fabric and it being laid out of the shirt. It's gonna be sewn on the shirt. So I'm giving y'all a far view of how big this looks. This is how it looks from the side, from this side. So it's pretty big, and it's gonna fit on the shirt really well, which is why I said I only need like a sheet. So I'm going to draw it on while it's on top of the shirt, so that way I can have a little navigation on what's too far to draw. What's too far to draw on for the shirt. So I'm going to be doing that. So first things first, we're going to be doing the top of the shell, which is like the two triangle points I was telling y'all about. Here, right here, where I'm pointing at. I tried to get a bigger picture, but it's a lot more tricky than I expected, but you gotta work with what you gotta work with. So first things first, I'm going to be using my reference to draw this out. I'm probably going to have to turn this into my direction, so that way I can see, so I won't mess up. But yeah, here we are. Okay, that's better, so that I can actually see. So first things first, some people have darker colors of these. I prefer to use the white, but if I do have a backup, because I do have a dark blue one, but I prefer to always start with white, because you can never go wrong with starting with a light color first when it comes to a dark color, but sometimes you may need something a little bit darker. So I'm gonna treat this like a sketchbook. So now I have to figure out how big I want it. So I'm probably gonna do it this big. Yeah, I think that should be big enough. So I'm gonna go. Okay, I can't really see it, but I'm marking it. Okay, I might need something darker. Okay, let's see. Yeah, but even then, you always want to go a little bit light. I'm just putting a little pressure on it, just a little, because this is technically like a sketch. This is kind of like you sketching on a sketchbook. Okay, and then I'll show y'all what it looks like, because I know from this angle you can see the drawing, but you can't actually see like what's going on. Like you can't actually see like the marks, but I made them kind of light. But I put a little pressure on it. The reason you want to kind of do it kind of light is so that you can see kind of like the whole idea, the whole picture. Being that this fabric is so big on this shirt, I just want to focus on getting the drawing proportion to match it to my best ability. I might end up moving this up when I sew it, because I notice it's kind of close to the neck, so I might end up moving this up, but this is just so I can get an idea point of what I need to kind of like to do. If it's not all drawn correctly, it's okay, because it doesn't really bother me, because either which way, what I don't want, I can always cut. So yeah, so that's the top part. Okay, now I gotta ease my way on down here. Okay, yeah, that's right. Make the turn right there. Okay. Try to make it rounded. Okay, because I might end up drawing the lines next. I'm gonna try to make it as rounded as possible for the bottom, because I might just end up drawing the lines in the shirt with this, but I don't want to risk it because I may sew them on there. But I could always go back and draw over it, so I'm probably just gonna go ahead and just continue the rest of these lines. It's no big deal, because I'm going light anyway. I'm not really going that heavy into it. I'm just trying to get the plaster set up so when it's time for it to go on the sewing machine, I'll know where to sew and where not to sew. So yeah, and then I'm gonna show y'all what the drawing looks like, because I know it doesn't look like it's there, but it's definitely there. Like, I promise y'all it's there. Yeah, it's basically like you're making like a sketch of what you're trying to do. Okay, so I just finished sketching it out. I know it looks really light. I'll show y'all, because I know it looks really light right now. Yeah, I probably can't see it. Hold on. I'm going to cut this real quick. I have some scissors right here, so I'm just gonna cut along the lines of what I sketched on here. I feel like it'll make more sense. Gotta make sure I don't cut the shirt. look like little rips on the sides. I wanted it to look really smooth, but it might look a little rough on the sides because of how I'm cutting it, and because these are scissors are made of stainless steel, so they are really sharp. They're not like regular scissors. These are really cutting into the fabric. Okay, I'm gonna cut this bottom, so it may look a little rigid, but it's fine. I'm not really worried about it. I'm just trying to cut between the details of what I drew out. I'm trying to make sure there's no lines showing, because when you draw over it, you want to make sure that your drawing lines don't show. That's another thing to look out for when you're like sketching your fabric. Make sure that when you cut the outline that you don't see the actual marker or actual pencil, which is why I did it so light. I'm just gonna cut down the middle like this. Okay, and that. Sometimes I have my own little cutting techniques. I have my own little way of cutting around stuff. Get the bottom nice and cut. Okay, now we're gonna cut some of the top here. Okay, cut that off. Now, as y'all can see, as I'm cutting, you can kind of like see a little bit of the plastron. A little bit of the plastron actually forming. So I said I feel like when I cut it, it's going to work, and y'all gonna see it better than me actually trying to show y'all, because I had to draw super light. For the simple fact that drawing light, I can see it, but it's also for like, if anything, if I make a mistake on anything, it won't show up real harshly on the fabric, you know. So that's another reason why I draw light. It's the same reason why they tell you when you are a art major, or like when you're drawing, to usually start off your sketch really light, because it could help you get those details you're trying to stand out. And if you make a mistake, you can at least say you did it while drawing light, because it's easier to erase and easier to fix and easier to catch. The same applies with fabric, although you can't really erase the marker, which is why I stuck with drawing light. Okay, gotta cut that around, because we're not doing sharp type edges. This is scrap. As I always say about scrap, you always keep scrap. Okay. Now, this is what it looks like. Now, I think I could have made it bigger based off of the shirt. I really feel like I could have made it bigger. Because I wanted to see about putting it in the neckline. I really feel like I could have made this bigger, so it could overtake the whole shirt. I really feel like I could have made this bigger. which I can add extra layers of fabric at the bottom if I want to, but I kind of want it to look like natural. I'm gonna fix this. Real quick. I'm gonna cut some of that off. It feels like it's too tall. Well, actually, this one's supposed to be taller, and then this one's supposed to be kind of shorter. So I'm gonna probably like cut a little bit of this off. I'm probably gonna like just lightly sketch that over this, because I'm gonna cut some of that off. Real quick, because it's supposed to be, this is supposed to be taller, this is supposed to be shorter. So you just cut some of this off real quick so I can fix that little detail. Okay, it's tall, it's still a bit too tall. I might just have to cut it like right there. Okay. Just I'm making sure I still get that dip in. That looks better, but now I'm gonna have to fix this. See, this is the risky part about cutting sometimes with fabric. You fix one end and you cut a little too far. Now you're gonna have to find a way to make it kind of like match even, so it won't look like it's too much. But I just need to cut off a little bit from the top. There we go. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay, it's fixed. Okay, I honestly just feel like the bottom has too much space, if I'm honest. I really feel like I could just add some more at the bottom. Let me see. So if I can add some more fabric to the bottom, that would really be great, without messing this up, because I just feel like it needs more fabric at the bottom. It's my opinion. Let me see, but I don't want to risk adding more fabric and then it looks a little weird. I still want it to kind of, because see, the problem is by adding this, which is the risky part, by adding this, cut my flashlight on so y'all can see. By adding this, I don't know if y'all can see it, but by adding this on here, you can actually see through it, because I can see the fabric is right here. So adding extra fabric is a no-go. So what I could do is take this as a reference and use the other fabric and make it bigger. Which I'm probably gonna do that. I'm probably going to just try to make it bigger, because like I said, I don't like all the space. Especially since on the picture right here, you see the legs right here, which is my tights. So I wanted to kind of like be kind of exact. So I'm probably going to be redoing this plaster to make it bigger. So I'm gonna do a bigger cutout of this, and then we will return to Betsy. So y'all, this is the new one. I still got space, but I have come to a decision. Okay, so this is the old one, by the way. Like, This is the old one. I'm gonna lay them both out so y'all can see like the size difference. This one is bigger. I'm gonna show y'all like the difference. Okay, like on the top, you get more of a top shape with this one, and this one's smaller. And then at the bottom, you can actually see the little triangles that form the little two circles, kind of like a heart on this one. This one's like a heart, and then this one right here, the new one, is more rounded at the bottom, which I like the new one a whole lot better. I just like the way this is cornered on the old one versus this one, because I admit this corner I had to kind of use this as a reference to kind of like round it a little bit, and then the top of this looks like it's kind of bigger than this, which I kind of want this to be shorter, so I'm gonna probably see if I can make it shorter, but this one is gonna be the one for the run. I like this new one a whole lot better, and I want to kind of keep it like above like the neckline, because in the comics that shell is kind of like above like their little neckline, and I thought like it would be cool and really I thought it would be really cool and really dope to have it around the neckline. So this one for the run, I'm going to probably try this shirt on, because push come to shove, I thought about possibly cutting this bottom of the shirt a little bit, so that I can get the look that I desire, because I like this one, but I can't really make it no bigger. But I'm still gonna keep the prototype plastron, because it still looks pretty fire. Only thing I kind of wished is that it was bigger, and that I wished I didn't do this bottom right here. But I'm going to save this, because who knows, might make another costume or something with this, or like make something with this in general, so I'm keeping it. But it's this one for the win. I'm just going to try to see if I can make this shorter. Other than that, it's a win-win. It's a win-win. But let me see though, because there might be, yeah, I had to make it a little shorter. It's no problem. Just gotta round this up like so, and then just going ahead and cut this on down. Yep, it's absolutely better now. Now they're both cut down, and I like how this looks. I really like how this looks now. I had to do a little cutting to make it to my liking, but I like this one. I like this plaster a lot. And now that I have successfully got my plaster together, I probably am gonna have to redraw the lines, but I'm going to focus on that. I've decided when I get to the sewing, because I haven't decided where I'm gonna sew the lines into the plaster or draw the lines onto the plaster. I'm probably gonna do a test like with the paint and see which one's better. If using the marker or the paint is better, then I'll do that, but if sewing is better, then I'll probably stick to doing it that way. But overall, plastron is done and cut, baby. Yes. So I already got Betsy hooked up at our little station, and I'm going to get ready to sew this up. But first, a little trick I like to use, but I'll use this, is I usually like to use cardboard, so that way when I'm sewing, it doesn't actually sew the inside of the shirt or the fabric together. But I'm gonna use this, but yeah, cardboard. under this, under your shirt or under your fabric while sewing is a definite hack I recommend anybody to use. Now, I'm gonna get ready to sew this plaster on. Because it is currently 7:16 right now. I feel like the day has started and the day has kind of ended at the same time. Okay. I'll try to move y'all to where y'all can see. See old Betsy. She's already set up. Now, Betsy is a little sewing machine, as you can see. But Betsy has been through a lot of sewing projects in her lifetime. She's been through sewing a nunchuck case. Ooh. Excuse me. And she's been through sewing pillows as well. So I have my faith with this one. I know it's bigger than the size of the sewing machine, but we not focusing on it. We focusing on what Betsy can do. No matter how small you are, you can do anything. That's what Betsy message is. No matter how small people think you are, or no matter how short people think you are, you can still do things. You can still achieve your dreams. It's never too late. And that's Betsy's message. That's what Betsy is, okay? Betsy is the positivity that we all need in our lives. Don't I saw my phone glow real quick. I'm gonna get that real quick. Okay. I have to check my phone real quick. Okay, so I know I said use cardboard, which we are. I'm just trying to figure out how do I need to angle Betsy. I'd have to take this out for a second, because Betsy is a small sewing machine. This is the first time I've actually used her to sew a huge project, but I have faith. But I have faith in her. I didn't even have the plug in. It wasn't even plugged in. Okay. So Betsy's already set up. I just have to figure out how I am going to do this. So I think put both of those back there. So I think I want to start off at the top here. I'm going to start off at the top so that way the top is secured. Okay. I don't usually put the pedal on the ground. I use it like a computer mouse. But traditionally you're supposed to put it on the ground. Okay, let me get this held. Okay. I do have another sewing machine, but I want to try to use this one because it's already set up. So make sure I get the plastron where I want it to be. So that way when I get Betsy together, I already have a spot. We're going to start. I'm going to turn this way. Okay, because I feel like that would be easier. Okay. Make sure both threads are behind. Okay, not that close up to the neck, but you might kind of like where the neck is. Okay. Make sure the shirt is stretched out. Okay. 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 Let's sit her down. Like that. Okay. Got her set down. I'm gonna put y'all right here so I can kind of get a little close up. Just a little close up. Okay. I'm gonna move this plug on the other side. Set up around me. Get up close. Okay. It's set up right. It should start sewing. 3, 2. Okay. My bad. I kind of jumped a little bit, but we doing good. Yes, Betsy is taking it. I knew you could do it. It got jammed somewhere in between. In between. Okay, now I gotta figure out where it got jammed at. That's the other tricky part about sewing sometimes. Oh, it wasn't behind. Okay, it wasn't behind. That's where it got jammed. Is it? Hold on. Yeah, we might have a trial and error. Hold up. You're doing so good. Hold up. Okay. Wait a minute. I gotta figure out which one got tangled. Something got tangled. Back here. Okay. Okay. So this is on the needle. Okay, this is in the back. Okay, let me try now. Okay, something has jammed. Oh, alright, let me look into the good part too. Okay. Maybe. Let me try something. Let me try pulling this back on there. Because maybe that was what the problem was. Maybe it started off too long with the thread. Okay. And then let's see. Because this is the tricky thing about sewing machines sometimes. Sometimes it can be very tricky. Okay, it's jammed somewhere. Okay. Which means at some point it got jammed in the crossfire. Okay, so this is the one from the bottom and under. That one's fine. Oh, I see. Both of these kind of intertwined. Ah. Oh, I might have to set her up. And they're both sewed together. They're both sewed together into the shirt too. This is what I was telling y'all that could tend to happen. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Right there? Y'all see that? And then it's sewed into the shirt. Sometimes with sewing machines, this can tend to happen. It can tend to happen. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to re-thread Betsy, I think. I think I'm gonna have to re-thread her. Which it kind of pains me to do.